In the next section, we'll look at a different way to define NP, which is equivalent. It's a different characterization, but which is a lot more intuitive to work with. During the break, we had a quick discussion about nondeterminism and how it is similar and maybe not similar to parallel algorithms. The main point, I think, is worth mentioning for everyone. A non-deterministic machine can essentially spawn an exponential number of threads and not pay anything for it. And that's unrealistic. So just to reiterate, you cannot build a non-deterministic machine that simulates these problems in NP in any sensible way, in any efficient way. The point of this definition is a different one. It's sketching out what would be possible with these machines, but they're unrealistic. A different way to look at those is via verifiers, also called sometimes certificates. And so the idea is as follows. We can define a different notion of accepting a language. It's a bit awkward at first, but you'll see it maps very naturally to typical problems like the traveling salesperson problem. We have a language again, and now an algorithm is given a word of the language, but also some other thing, namely a certificate, which here will just have some binary string. So the input to the algorithm is a pair, a potential word from the language, where we have to decide, is it part of the language, yes or no, and some mysterious binary string. Now, such an algorithm is a verifier for this language if the following holds. For every, the language is exactly the set of all strings, so that there is some binary string C, a certificate, so that the algorithm outputs 1 if given W and C. Okay? And then we say that this binary string C is a proof for the fact that W is in the language. And that's precisely, I think that the term is intuitive and telling there. Let's do an example first. So if L is the traveling salesperson problem, so a yes instance is a distance matrix and a threshold, so that the shortest Tor with those distances actually has a length less than the threshold. Okay? That would be the language L. What could be a certificate? Well, the round trip itself. So somehow encoded in binary. But if you give me an instance of the traveling salesperson problem, a graph encoded, or the distance is encoded, and the threshold, and you also present me a Tor, I can check if that Tor has total length less than the threshold. And if I find such a proof, such a certificate, I can easily verify in polynomial time as well that such an instance is part of the language TSP. On the other hand, if you give me an instance where the shortest round trip is longer, I might have a very hard time to find any proof because there is none. And this is where the definition says nothing about it. Okay, I was jumping ahead of myself with this polynomial time verifier. This is just saying an algorithm is a verifier if it somehow solves this definition. So it accepts a word with a proof if that indeed is in the language. And a verifier is an algorithm, so it has some running time. If that time to accept a word is polynomial now just in the length of the word, the certificate is excluded, which also means that the certificate had better not be too long. Otherwise, no algorithm has the time to even read it. So that naturally bounds, without explicitly mentioning it, the certificate cannot be substantially longer than the input string. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a useful one. Proofs need to be readable. Then we can define the class of problems, VP, those that can be efficiently verified by, well, all the languages for which there is a polynomial time verifier A that accepts exactly this language. Okay? And again, the example was L could be TSP yes instances, which was the distance matrix and the threshold. I think that was the notation I used on some slide initially. But you know what I mean. That's the distance matrix. You just write down all the numbers. You give it a threshold, all the numbers. And the yes instance means there is a round trip that has at most distance capital D. Let's spend a minute comparing these two things. After the proof, I think it will not be surprising, but maybe at first sight it is. These two classes are the same. NP and VP describe the same problems, which means we can either think about non-determinism or we can think about verifiers. It's the same thing. This is a statement about a set equality, so we prove it by both inclusions. And the first one is we show that NP, oh, come on, is a subset of VP, which means I'm going to pick some arbitrary language L in NP. And we'll eventually want to show that this language is also in VP. Right? If it's in LP, that means there is a non-deterministic Turing machine A. Let's call it M like before, so that L is the language that's accepted by this non-deterministic Turing machine. And it's also polynomial time. I'll just write briefly polytime to mean that what would be properly right? The time it takes machine M on an input of size n is big O of some c, and there exists a constant c such that that is true. Okay. Now, with this machine M, we're going to construct a verifier for the same language. And so that one's supposed to get an input from the alphabet. Let's say L is a subset of some sigma star. And this verifier is supposed to take some word of sigma star and some binary string. So let's take this sigma star and 0, 1 star. The core idea of the simulation is M is a non-deterministic machine, so we only know if X is in the language that there's some accepting computation in M, but it has these non-deterministic steps where we don't know which step to take. In each possible case, so at each point in time, M has only a constant number of possible things to do because all its control is finite. If you go back, the delta of some state and the current tape symbol, I don't know, let's call it A, it has that many different options, and that's less than some constant C. So we will use some log C rounded up. I'm just saying we use the binary bits in C to pick one of the possible outcomes one of the possible next steps in the non-deterministic computation. So in a way, we use C as if some all-knowing person had written down exactly which are the right steps to take so that they lead us to the accepting computation. Now, in general, we don't know which the accepting computation is, but the good thing is the verifier also doesn't need to know. It gets the string C as an input, and it's supposed to accept if there's some certificate. It doesn't need to know which one it is or find it. Okay? And that's basically all we do. So if M accepts a certain input, then that's happening if and only if there is some accepting computation we could even formally write down what that computation looks like, right? It starts from a starting state and then it goes with a number of steps to some halting state and 1. But we don't need that here. So that it accepts the input x. And that means there was a selection of possible next steps at each non-deterministic time step. A. Okay. So we simulate the non-determinism by writing down the choices. And if M accepts the string S, if and only if there exists a C so that A accepts XC, that means the language accepted by the verifier A is our language L, and that means L is part of VP. And that's the end of this first bit. It shows every language in NP is also in VP, so that's the inclusion part 1. Now let's do the other direction. We also want to show that VP is a subset of NP, but the idea is very similar. So we have an arbitrary language. So we start with a verifier for L, arbitrary language in VP. And we construct the non-deterministic Turing machine. Let's give this a name. There's also polytime. I can do this properly. So there's a polytime verifier for A. We construct a non-deterministic polytime Turing machine for this language, where we use the non-determinism to guess the certificate. That's called non-deterministically. What that means is it's a binary string. So I'm going to do a number of steps where in each point I can do one of two outcomes, and one writes a 0, one writes a 1 into my string C. And I'm doing this non-deterministically, which means someone has to figure out the right path. I'm not going to do it. I'm non-deterministic. But that way I can effectively try all possible strings C. But it's non-deterministic, so I'm not even paying for it. And then for the rest, I'm just simulating A. And this part will be deterministic. I don't need to do any further guessing steps there. And you can work out the same. The running time stays the same. You don't know how long the string C in general has to be, but we can bound it by how much time A has. So you don't have to generate an arbitrarily long string, or you could even interleave the things and be smart. So you only generate the next bit of the string C when A in its computation accesses it. Before you read that bit, it isn't relevant, so you could also delay the guess it on demand, basically. But the same thing as above here is true. If there's a way to make the verifier accept, if there is a proof, then there is a way that the non-deterministic machine uses the right steps to guess that string, and then it simulates it so it accepts the same strings. So that language is in NP, and that concludes the proof, because then every language in VP is also in NP. We already know every language in NP is already in VP, so the two are the same. Okay. This is useful whenever you want to show that some problem is in NP. Because again, if you were to apply this to, say, the traveling salesperson problem, you can show that it's in NP by showing it is in VP. As I sketched before, if you give me a distance matrix and a threshold and a round trip, it's really easy to just sum up the cost of the round trip and check if it's smaller than D. That's just linear time or so. Okay.